Post-secondary education, whether you're going into university or to a tertiary college, or even to a vocational training college run by the counties, you're thinking, what's my career going to look like? And that conversation is always very hard. Yeah. And sometimes we ask ourselves, why are we talking career at Form 4 or post-Form 4? How early did you start talking about careers? The institution that has been set up to help in the transition from secondary into post-secondary is KUCCPS. We call it KUCCPS. The Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Service. When you have KUCCPS, the CEO is Dr. Agnes Wahome. She's our guest. Good morning.
Good morning. It's not that bad.
What is it?
How do you say the abbreviation?
KUCCPS.
Like chicken coop.
Yeah. Okay. Just let's say the placement service.
Okay.
That's
Placement
easier.
service.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's just call it KUCCPS.
KUCCPS, I think is good.
Okay.
KUCCPS works well.
Yeah, it does. It's easier, not easier. Fun.
It's just
more fun
fun
to say. Yeah.
You'll always remember that there are many C's.
Yes.
And you'll try to feel the C's. Colleges,
University.
Central, right?
Yeah. It's quite a mouthful, I agree.
Yeah. Dr. Wahome, thank you very much for joining us. We'll start the conversation with Janet giving you the day's quote. And let's see whether the quote makes sense. If it does, say yes, it does, and how. If it doesn't, say no, it doesn't. And say what would make sense in its place.
Or keep it moving. Marian Edelman was an American civil rights activist, and she once said, democracy is not a spectator sport.
Democracy
is not a spectator sport.
A spectator sport.
Wow.
Kenyan spectators, are we participants in democracy? What do you think? Do we participate more than spectate?
I think so.
You do? Okay.
We tend to sit at the, at the periphery, make a lot of noise. Everybody seems to be an expert in everything. But when it comes to action, even voting is a problem. So, yeah.
Eric is categorically agreeing.
Fully. Yeah. We are spectators.
We're spectators.
Yeah, and even when we're coming to spectate, we still want to tell the coach, come on, ningetua huyu player.
Yeah.
We all have to be experts.
I see that in the education space. People will say, you shouldn't do this, you should have done this. But when we ask for views,
silence.
Very silent. Yeah, so I see that a lot, and I'm surprised at all levels. I can say, like the placement, when placement time is here, the leaders, the community, the students, there'll always be a lot of, we are really hit hard. But when we ask for views, when we had the presidential working party asking for views, when we had the other task force, that they complained we were too many, but we would write in the newspapers, ask for views, and just people wouldn't come. Yeah.
No participants. We're just spectators. There are people who don't know what KUCCPS is. So please just take a brief moment to tell us what you do. Like, what's the job of the Universities and Colleges Central Placement System?
Okay. So this is a state corporation under the Ministry of Education. People knew it some time back as the former JAB, the Joint Admissions Board, where when placement would happen, or the transition from high school to university, was mainly coordinated by a group of vice chancellors who would come together and look at the applications and do the placement. And once that was done, everybody would go back to their space. But during the 2010 Constitution, one of the areas that were found to wanting was the need for a centralized organization that would look at all the requirements for the universities, and then look at the choices for the students and ensure that the process is done in a fair, equitable way, and looking at merit.
Right.
So that's how KUCCPS came about. So we had the Universities Act of 2012 establishing the institution as a state corporation, but the work actually started. The official handover from JAB to KUCCPS came about in 2014. So the mandate of KUCCPS is mainly to coordinate the placement of students to universities and colleges. So though we are under the Universities Act, we are not limited to the universities and colleges, and that's why you find we are in the private universities and public universities, as long as a university is registered and accredited to offer courses in this country. When we look at colleges, we go beyond the Ministry of Education colleges. Currently, we are working with I would say 20 ministries. So we started off with the Ministry of Education, but now we are in Ministry of Health. That's why we are doing placement for KMTC. Utalii College just came on board. So our mandate is really, expanding. So the other and most important one now is career guidance. So we are mandated to come up with career guidance programs for schools, for secondary schools. We are, we have the database for students, so we are supposed to retain data, and also to advise government on matters, placement and the transition, after school. We again have a responsibility to provide information on available programs, the institutions that offer these programs, the cost of programs. So basically that's...
It's a wide mandate.
It is.
Do you work with a cutoff, don't you, in terms of a grade? C+?
Yes, for university, the minimum entry is a C+. But we are not the ones who establish those cutoffs. We have the Commission for University Education that's very, very strict, because they look at the universities, they assess the universities and the programs, the content and everything, and then they look at what the universities recommend. So generally, the recommendation currently is that the minimum entry requirement for a degree program, direct entry, there is direct and there is the
parallel
progression. Yeah, so direct entry from KCSE is a C+ as a minimum.
I wanted to get a bit into the career guidance bit of it, because I'd never known about it until, I found out we're going to do this interview. You talked about, for example, letting the learners know what's required of a course, etc. How is that done? And is it sufficient as career guidance? Because that feels to me like technical checkpoints, which is, this is what you require. This is what's available at this university. They do offer communication. They do offer a Bachelor of Science in this and that. This is the minimum grade requirement. This is the fees. That's what should I call it? Check. It's not guidance per se. It's a checklist. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
Actually, career guidance should start as early as, I would say from the very basic stage of a child. It shouldn't be an event that now you sit and you're taken through all this and the programs and all.
Right.
It's a conversation that should start very early in life. Very simple, just asking a child, what would you like to be, Or a parent observing a child to find out, what does this child love doing?
Right.
What are the gifts and talents that this child has? From basic sports, music. So that's how career guidance should start. So translating what you love doing into a lifelong, activity that would get you a form of income. So it shouldn't be something that separates you from your normal life. And I think that's the conversation that we've been having, because as we move into the new education system, where we are talking of, even the different pathways, when you look at the pathway of arts and sports, we are basically talking about somebody's talent,
Right.
Guiding them so that these talents become, some form of your formal education. So, how do I move my talent into, get into a sports academy or study sports science and then earn from that talent. So that it's a whole a cycle rather than this is my talent, I do it and I sing. It shouldn't be a side hustle. Basically, so that's where career guidance comes in, being taken through that process to appreciate and form and make it part of your source of income. Yes.
Now with the CBE, the career and pathways start very early, right? So how far down does KUCCPS go to start having conversations with learners and importantly, their parents?
Yes.
That are a young age. How far down do you start at grade 3? Do you talk to grade 6s as they are doing their, what's it called?
AKG?
KUCCPS.
Oh, KUCCPS, not
Right?
KUCCPS, yeah.
Are you starting from that point? Because when they go to junior school, they're already starting to think, as I'm learning here, I know the career pathways.
Yeah.
I know what I feel like doing. I can start identifying.
Our entry is in two ways. With the teacher training institutions, with the teachers, we start, very, very early. So the teacher should actually come out, being able to introduce the topic as early as, that early stage. But our engagement with the students starts in grade 7. Yeah. So we have a program for grade 7, 7, 8, and 9. That's the junior school. And then we have grade 10 to 12. So those who have gone into grade 10 now, at least we started off some engagement with them, training their teachers to start how to even start the conversations. And we actually started off by doing an assessment with the teachers to find where the gaps are.
Okay.
So how do you do this?
I was going to ask how.
Yeah. So one thing that we appreciate is that you cannot, because of course the curriculum, you cannot have a session where you go to the students and tell them, now this is the time for career guidance. It is as you introduce every topic, as you look at every subject, how do you bring in the aspect of career in it? How can you make, for example, let me give excuse me, an example. You're teaching about, you have a class, a business class, and you're teaching about franchise, types of businesses, franchising. And we've seen even in social media where students are actually asked to come with staff and role play a market. And from there, a teacher should be able to pick those students with the skills and keen interest. Of course, you'll find there are others who wouldn't be interested. So that starting to identify early enough the entrepreneurial skills, and then as they now come to grade 10, how do you now get this child to choose subjects around business studies? So it should be a way of life. What we're saying is it should be something that it's a different way of thinking, but it's been done, because when you look at the IG, the International British Education System, they don't do it any differently. It's just, the field trips that students go to, when they start, going to the parks the
Listen.
animal orphanage.
It's active exposure as opposed to sitting down and asking you,
Yep.
Exactly.
what do you want to
What
do
do
when
you
you
want- yeah.
when you grow up?
Precisely, precisely. And when we, CBE is about competencies, being more observant rather than directing, getting the students to actively engage in the learning, and that experiential learning, and you find they would get more, they would actually come out with more than what is in the books.
Yeah.
So it's a learning experience for the teacher also.
Yeah.
So even for us as now we engage in career guidance, we realize there are more career opportunities than we thought, because we are more traditional. We have gone through the same 844 system where we are expected to recall.
Yep.
Yeah.
To cram. I'm going to ask about parents' uptake, because you can talk to students and convince teachers, but I think
Yes.
you are going to ask something.
How do you measure that this career guidance is happening then? Because especially given that you're meant to integrate it into lessons and knowing how heavy our curricula can be, sometimes a teacher will, most likely they'll just focus on, I have a syllabus to finish.
Yes. Now for the excuse me.
No worries. Yeah, but I always wonder about
How to measure that.
how to measure and how if teachers will prioritize career guidance when they have goals, they have targets, they have syllabus to finish.
Before I get to that, there's an issue Janet mentioned about the uptake by the parents. 844, everything is left to the teacher, and the performance of the student is determined by the teacher. But the moment the performance is not good, the bashing is on the teachers. We are finding, because we are already, we still, now we have the two sets, the 844, the two classes that we still have to go, and the new grade 10. It hasn't been easy getting the parents to come and appreciate a career day in school for 844, because even the participation of the parents having to come and discuss the performance is really not something they are keen on. But there are few schools that have embraced it, and you see there's interest and they want to have that discussion. But I would say the CBE class, remember the bashing the system got initially, and parents saying they are being made to do so much work, and the children are coming home with too much homework, and being asked to get chicken and all that. Of course, Kenyans will always be Kenyans. But today you ask a parent who has a child in 844 and a child who's undertaking the new system, their way of thinking is very different. The one who's going through the new system will always ask why. You ask them, do this, and the first thing is why. Why should I? And they will challenge you. So we can see that change of thinking, and that's the I would say the signs that we are in the right direction. You now start finding this child and the child who's gone through the IB system, they kind of are thinking the same. Problem solving techniques, group work, rather than competition. 844 is all about competition. It's all about grades. Yeah. So you ask, how will we know that we're making progress? I've been at KUCCPS for 8 years now. Yeah, I started off my first 3 years as a manager in research, and I would look at the data. It was actually my work to get the data together after placement, after KCSE, and study that data. And in 2019, we only had 500 students who opted to
change their course, or
those who had qualified for university, that's a C+, who actually took programs in TVET. So I wanted to find out what influenced their decision. So I got in touch with them, and 65% actually had made that decision out of influence by parents or teachers, which was very sad, that it was actually not their own volition that they went for TVET. And in the process, they changed. They said they wanted to take degrees. So that tells you that the focus was still degree. I have to get a degree, regardless of, what I love doing. And the parents, of course, would say, if you don't make it for a degree, you're a failure. And I've said this in many forums now, we are seeing more and more students who qualify for university making that firm decision and saying, I want to take TVET because that's what I want to do. I want to be an engineer.
Yeah.
I did not make it, with an A-, but I can start somewhere. So that's how you measure the impact or the effect of career guidance, that people can actually make up their minds, make decisions, not because people want to see them having gone to the university or not.
Okay.
And then the other thing is...
very briefly, because we're just about to go on a break.
Okay. When they make their applications, the number of students who actually change.
I was about to ask that, yeah.
That tells you, that movement when they are changing, then you see that somebody is changing because of financial issues, not because this is not my preferred course. Then it means in the first go, they actually made a choice and they settled in the program that they wanted to.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's rather sad. I think we've talked about it on the show a few times, that a lot of students are having to change what they want to study just because of financial constraints. But when we come back, we'll talk about if there's still a gap between the information as far as people choosing the correct courses. I know you said it's a lot better, but of course having a wealth of knowledge and then being able to also get into the courses that they had hoped to, so that we can understand like the back office of KUCCPS. Yeah. How does this algorithm put me in a Bachelor of Political Science and I had really said I wanted to do law? Let's go #Fixing the Nation and TV. We'll be right back. Nice and slow.
Yeah, we're just getting back into our conversation around KUCCPS. Francis Moyo says KUCCPS have done a really good job this year in sensitizing young Kenyans on their role, and also parents, kudos. See how you can cascade to other counties. I'm thinking of like Wajir, for example. So that's some feedback. Also, the QR code is on your screens. We turned 1 today. Happy anniversary to Fixing the Nation. A lot of you have sent messages, and we can see that there's some messages that have come in. We'll sample them a little later, maybe 1 or 2 now, before we get back into conversation. Yeah, it's been a beautiful addition to my routine, keeping me up to date on what's happening locally and regionally. That's what one user says, and that they watch it a few times a week. A lot of them say they watch it every day. Thank you, Fixers. I've learned a lot matters government, business, and its behavior. A better conversationalist is what I've become. I've benefited from learning interviewing without being biased, turn-taking, listening effectively, and providing articulate feedback. This show is more than just #Fixing the Nation. We appreciate our community of fixers and the feedback that you're giving us as we turn 1 today.
Indeed.
Right. Oh no.
You saw one.
You guys always make me laugh. No, this has nothing. This is on the previous conversation. Well, you guys have said a fast food restaurant is not a metric for development. Let's get back into our conversation with the CEO of the Kenya Universities and College Placement Service.
There's a central.
Kenya University Central. Kenya University and Colleges Central Placement Service. There we go. Dr. Agnes Wahome is in studio with us. We've been talking about how exactly career guidance happens before students select a course. I wanted to know how to measure the impact. You've given us some of those, examples, but now also going into how do we tangibly know that people are getting into the courses they want, and there's a lot of cases of people, especially online, saying, you know what, I applied for XYZ, I was called to this. This is a school that I did not apply to. I applied, for example, to Chuka University and to Moi University in Eldoret, and then I found myself at JKUAT studying engineering. What happened?
Okay.
That's just it's a wild example, but you get what I'm saying.
Yes. Let me say, some years back, we would open the system before the exam is done. And students would make their choices, of course, guided by the teachers more.
Right.
And we had the teachers' platform. So the teacher would feed in the students' choices. And where the student did not make a choice, the teacher would actually think, I think you should do medicine.
Suited for this, okay.
And we found that with a lot of students who got A's, the choices were mainly by the teachers, you know, saying you're an A student and therefore you should do medicine. Then some 2 years now.
Wow, that's so restrictive.
Yes.
I just want to study literature. But now you're being forced into medicine. Okay.
And like I said, the A minus students are the ones who suffer most because they have done, you know, they have good grades across, you know, the sciences and the arts. And sometimes a child wants to do communication. We've seen a lot of that. Good students who can write, can really create. They feel communication is the space they want to be in, but they say, their parents say no, the teacher says no, you know, you're letting us down by taking this. So what we decided 2 years now, we said we will be letting the students get their results. Then we put on our portal how the last year's placement went. So what were the minimum entry grades and the cutoffs for various universities in that last year.
Okay.
So that it helps you to know, okay, this is what I'd like to do. I'd like to do it in this university. But this was the person who had the lowest grade who went into that university for that program. So based on my performance, am I likely to get or not likely to get? So when you use that information, the chances of being left out are low.
Yes.
Because clearly you will see if the performance this year, we had 270,000 students who got C+ and above. Last year was 245. So the competition will be higher this year.
Yeah.
So if the entry, the last person who got into University of Nairobi Medicine, for example, was 45.5, it's likely to be 45.7. That's how it goes. So when we put it there, it helps them make a choice.
Okay.
So we've seen waiting for the results to be out, putting this information beforehand is really assisting in the choices. But I would say that you know, our students still have that mentality that I have to go to University of Nairobi, Jomo Kenyatta, KU, the traditional first universities, without realizing that these others are babies of those. And sometimes the baby does better than the mother. Of course, they have more energy, they are more creative, more innovative. A case of example of Dedan Kimathi, where I was last week, is a baby of JKUAT. But in terms of computer science, they have a program that's very unique, the mechatronics, a combination of mechanical
and
engineering and electronics and ICT. That's a Stanford right here in Kenya. So, but when you find a student placed in Dedan Kimathi and their choice was KU, they will feel, oh, can I change to this? So again, one of the roles of KUCCPS is to get the institution, the students, and when we go around and have, you know, like the activity we had last week at KICC, where we get the universities to all come, showcase what they are doing, talk about their institutions, to get that mindset of that I can go to Turkana University and get the best education. I can go to Garissa University and come out, you know, as competent as a person who has gone to university.
Competent and competitive. You've spoken about Turkana and Wajir, and somebody had asked about inclusion and access.
Yes.
You know, when you talk about how you're working with teachers and students and parents, it can sound like, oh, if you're exposing people to career choices, there's almost a connotation of privilege, and not that that's the truth. What happens in regions which are far to reach, or where people don't find that they have as many options? I don't even know if that's profiling by the way that I've done subliminally.
It's
but
true.
you know what I mean?
I mean,
Yes.
let's start with accessing the internet so that you can
There
get
you
on
go.
this portal.
Yep, the portal, exactly.
Yes. An example of Wajir. I've been to Wajir personally. For one reason, I realized we had students who had done very well and were not applying. So I needed to find out why are they not applying. So I traveled to Wajir, and I had a radio program, a live show in Wajir, of course with the help of a translator. But the issue there, and I found they had good internet. We have a Huduma Center there, and anytime we have our systems open, we have officers in all Huduma Center countrywide. Then we use existing institutions as application centers. So there was the Wajir Technical College. Now we have Wajir KMTC. So where internet is a problem, we still have physical, officers, and we use Ngao, the national coordinating mechanisms, to help reach as many as we can. And we are able to measure that because when we look at those who get C+ and above, we are able to place at least 86% last year. Okay. So my experience is, of course, there are some communities that will move because of drought. Wajir, Garissa, Mandera, they are pastoralists by their nature. Turkana, I found the same, you find the whole school, they've actually moved to a different place.
To greener pastures, literally.
Yes. So we were able to find students who had done exams, had moved. So when we asked them why they didn't apply, they said tulikuwa tumeenda malishoni. So it got us to start thinking, who said you have to go to university immediately after
high school?
After high school. So we have we opened up to allow students who had done exam the last 2 years to make applications. So we call them late applicants. So you come, you tell us you had gone malishoni, or maybe if it's a lady, you had gone to get a baby, you needed just that break.
You were worried about fees.
Exactly. Yeah. So now, because again, one thing we did with the new funding model was to delink funding from placement. So once you're placed, the process of application for funding is completely different. We are not engaged in that. Our focus is, do you have access to higher education? And it doesn't have to be tomorrow. Of course, we encourage them to apply immediately, but where circumstances force you, then we have the opportunity for late application, where we look at how you perform against your class, not the new one. Because if we'll check against the latest class, you will be disadvantaged. So we check against your cohort.
On the finances, does the portal have, maybe you'd actually talked about it earlier, like the fees, the cost for every course, so that, I don't know if they should be aware or shouldn't be aware. I'm very torn on this, like I'm thinking out loud, because I wouldn't want the cost to be a deterrent to people pursuing the courses of, their dreams. But
I can tell you, I was in the same situation. Do we put it? Do we not do it. So we did it the first year, and there was an outcry. You know, this is too expensive. And you see, for us, we were putting the actual cost of the program, not what you will pay, because after that,
not the
you'll
household
apply,
contribution.
Yes. So we said, this is how much it costs to do medicine in this university. We found it discouraged some students to even make that application. So the following year, we pulled it down. So last year, we didn't have the cost of programs, and we saw it was positive. But also it opened up our minds, and we asked ourselves, come to think of it, what's the cost of the same program in other countries? And we had the task force that was appointed by the president. I was part of that, and in my group we were looking at the cost of programs, and we were able to compare and say, Makerere, this is the cost of medicine. Our universities, this is what makes us so different and expensive. And you also, the cost of program actually came down. If there was something that came out of that task force that was positive, was the cost of program. So it's from that posting on that, on our system that triggered the whole discussions and the concerns about the cost of programs. So we are not putting for that reason. Nobody should feel discouraged because of that cost of program.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure that I see a point where learners are going into KCSE with an indication of what they'd like to do, either as a passion or as a possibility. I see results coming out, and then now you're dealing with the reality. So you're applying based on your reality. This is my reality. I got this grade. Okay? If I had gotten another grade, I'd have applied for this. But now, this is my reality, so let me apply for this. Is there anything that can indicate that that's not the case?
Well, for KCSE, you've said it very well. That's the case. It's not about passion. Look at the way our high schools behave. From the teachers to the students, it's all about celebrating grades.
Yep.
So I'm not doing well. I'm not working hard to pursue my passion. I'm working hard because there are targets. I go into a school, and all, along the pathways, it's the target for this year is 9 point this.
Yes.
That it even puts some form of pressure on the students. Then the teachers are also fearful. If my class doesn't perform, I'm likely to be moved to another school. We've seen parents storming schools to try and get out the principals because the performance was. Can you imagine now that one who sits to do the exam with armed policemen in class? So we have, changed the whole idea. What is the purpose of education? Yeah? And that's what CBE is trying to cure. Because if I'm going to get 60% of the grades from the assignments I did, I shouldn't worry so much about, the other 40%. So we are at a point with 844, with KCSE, it's not about passion, it's about competition. And when they get to the university, that doesn't die down. They are still competing. They are still asking, we had a discussion with some lecturers, and they get there, and the first thing they ask is, where is the syllabus? Because they want to
go ahead of it.
Ahead of the syllabus. When are we having the next cuts? Where are the past papers? That's not learning. That's it's not good at all.
It's rote.
It's what?
It's rote. Rote learning.
Exactly. Yeah. So we just have to manage the two cohorts that are there.
Yeah.
But the realization that we are not building a knowledge-based economy, it's
something better.
work.
So here now comes my issue, right? So KUCCPS has been given their mandate to ensure that there's career guidance for learners, and also that teachers have the ability to also guide the learners. Now, does KUCCPS have that capacity to actually go to all the teacher training colleges and impart this? It has to be continuous.
Yes.
Does KUCCPS have the capacity to go to the market and research on the current job market needs and the requirements, then go to all the colleges under its system and know this is what they are offering and this is how they're delivering that, so that then you can come to the learner and say, this is what this career means. Then do you also have the capacity to do that with the learners, with all the number of primary schools you can imagine of in this country, the comprehensive schools, grade 7s. You said you're starting off at grade 7 now. Okay, so there's a school called Engaje Noibor in Kimana. Does KUCCPS have the capacity to actually go to Engaje Noibor and speak to the learners and show them what the future looks like, you know, at the end of their learning, and that what they're learning is connected to that future?
Okay. Well, in terms of staff, if you say everybody, you know, we make a physical visit to every institution, definitely it's not going to be possible. In fact, we did the math sometimes and we said, you know, if we rely on our staff to go to every school in this country, it would take us about 33 years. So we definitely have to come up with ways
Innovative
of doing
ways.
it. Yes, innovative ways of doing things. So what we focus on is building the capacity of teachers. And you reach the teacher right from the training college, so that when that teacher graduates, and we're talking of for the primary teacher education and secondary teacher the primary teacher education, we have 33, you know, the Goto, you know,
Teacher training colleges.
teacher training colleges. So we have 33 of them. We place those teachers there. So we are able to work with them, so that by the time they are getting out of training, then they have they appreciate career guidance. This, I can tell you, is work that we started like 3 years ago. It's not something that had been done. So we are talking of maybe the first cohort being able to go out and do things differently.
But still, how do you do it?
So
you know, there's that whole theory of, you know, in careers, there's a career in engineering.
Oh, no.
Because that's what I started with. Are you looking at the market and then seeing what the market needs and seeing what is being offered in universities and then coming to the teacher and saying there are careers in engineering, and now you spread it all out. You go into mechatronic engineering.
Yes.
And you tell this trainee teacher what mechatronic engineering is.
Yeah.
So when he goes to Parsanga, in Engaje Noibor, he'll tell him what mechatronic engineering is.
Exactly. So first, we wouldn't even want to limit the thinking of the careers, because we can't keep up. Look at what is happening with the young people with AI and yes. Yeah. I wouldn't think of a career born out of AI. Actually, we are having a training from tomorrow to appreciate AI. So the young people are ahead of us. The idea is to get them to think so that they are innovative, so that we are not telling them this is what is available. It is them to create those opportunities. What we do is
fostering an environment.
An environment where the discussions can happen. So what I see, the role of KUCCPS is actually an enabler to allow the that discussion to get the teacher thinking differently. So we have the secondary school teacher education that we focus on. We have partnered with different, KICD, KEMI, this one, the one that looks at management in schools. So we had KEMI, we have KICD, we had Strathmore. We came together and developed a package for career teachers. So we have taken through TVET. Every TVET and the universities, they have offices of career guidance who are full-time officers in those institutions who help the students now navigate around careers, so that if a student is pursuing a certain course, they have somebody they can go to, they have an office they can go to that will help them understand, areas to look at when understanding their career. They also help them with placement for attachment. So when students are due to go for attachment, that is the office that coordinates. So they are a liaison with the industry, actually. So that is not something that has been happening for years. So when you ask whether we have the capacity, we work through others.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just, as a closing question, very quickly for learners who are listening right now, who at some point this year, later in the year, will be applying to universities and to technical colleges. Give them some tips to be able to not game the system, but get the best possible outcome.
Yeah. These students did their exam last year. And most of the institutions of higher learning that they will be going into will be in September, if they want the government support. They have a lot of time. Let them explore. Most of them now have smartphones. Let them use the opportunity to think through, with my grades and what my interests in life, how can I match? What courses can I do? Our system, even though it's not open for application, is open for information. What are the courses available? What are the, institutions are listed there, and what the programs that are there, so that they use their time well. Identifying mentors, somebody they can start talking to around the careers they want to get into, visiting the institutions, working in as volunteers to just see, so that by the time they're making their applications in September, then they're very clear what they would like to get into.
Right. Thank you. This has been very helpful and insightful. We hope to have you back. Dr. Agnes Wahome, CEO, KUCCPS.
Yes, you got it right.
Careers, university, and college choices is the conversation we've been having. In the next hour, we commemorate 1 year of fixing the nation. It's our anniversary today. We'll just have a conversation about some of what stood out and how we intend to continue fixing the nation with all of you, COCC2, as we always say. It's coming up to 9 a.m. We'll be back after this break.